Good
Good
evening.
evening. Hello.
Hello.
Right. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
Let's see. Let me adjust my camera. Okay. How are you doing, Jorge?
Very well. Very well. Thank you.
Good. Okay. All right. So today we're having a conversation class, Jorge. We are going to discuss a little, and we're also going to learn new vocabulary. Okay. So, what are we going to be discussing? We're going to be talking about the way we speak. Okay. So, we're going to be doing it through a listening activity that is called Why We Hesitate When We Speak. So, let me ask you, what does it mean to hesitate?
Mm, no, I'm not sure.
Okay. So, have you heard this word before? Like through any example or any situation? And it's totally fine if you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. So, when does someone hesitate, for example?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, no problem. So, hesitate is a word that refers to the fact that you do not take action at once, you see. So we can hesitate at the moment of making a decision. We take our time in order to think very well about what we want to do. And mostly we use this word when we are speaking. So sometimes when we want to give our opinion, we hesitate. And when we hesitate, that means that we think twice before saying something. We go like, maybe I shouldn't say this. I need to think about it well. Or sometimes we are too nervous to say something. So we go like, uh, and we just say like very short sounds. We just make sounds and we don't say
Mm,
complete words. Are we okay?
okay. Yeah. I guess I
Very
get it.
good. Okay. So this is something we usually do when we are speaking. Everybody does it. Some people do it more than others, but it is totally normal. So now that we have clarified the term hesitate, we're going to discuss the questions right here. So can you give me a hand reading the first one over here?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What words and phrases do English speakers use when they are trying to think of what is what it is they want to say?
Hmm. So we're thinking about people who speak English in general. When they are speaking, what words do they use when they are like getting some time in order to develop ideas? Like to let you know that you need to wait. They haven't finished speaking. They are about to give you an example. So, can you think of any words?
Um, for example, give me a minute or
Mhm. Okay, very good.
uh,
Uh-huh. So, give me a minute. Do they make any sounds?
in English. Yeah, I guess it's more for the Latinos.
Oh, okay. So, this takes us to our second question. What words do
Yeah.
you use in your language to do the same thing? So, let's see. What do we say or what sounds do we make?
Well, usually we make some like a sound, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
for example, yeah, that's part air or this.
Mm. We go like,
Yeah.
mm.
Mm,
Very good. Mhm. Anything else? When we are speaking and we want the other person to give us time in order to find the word that we want to say, the exact word that we want to use in order to express our ideas. Can you think of any other?
Mm.
You can say the word in Spanish or the phrase exactly. What do people usually say in El Salvador when they don't remember a word?
For example, what I say or something like that.
We can say, I can remember, I can think of one right now, and we say,
Oh yeah,
yeah, right. Can you think of any
yeah.
other?
Um,
Or when we don't know what to say and we're just trying to catch an idea in the air? I can think of another one. Let's see.
oh yeah, that's
We go like mhm. And what do you think? What do you think about these phrases or sounds that we make? Do you think they're formal or they are informal?
no, they are informal. Yeah.
And when given a presentation, if somebody goes like that, if somebody goes like ¿cómo se llama? What do people usually think about those people?
No, he thought that he's hesitated and also he's not prepared.
Exactly. Okay, so we can give a meaning to people saying those words or phrases. All right. Now, which of the words or phrases in both languages? For example, in English, people go like, some people say, I mean, have you
Yeah,
noticed? Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Can you think of any other?
like you know,
Exactly. Right. Uh-huh. You know, exactly. You also said like, exactly. Very good. Good.
like
Very
yeah.
good. Exactly. All right. So which do you use? Do you use any of these in English or in Spanish when you're speaking? Have you noticed?
I guess I use the sound.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Very good.
but yeah.
What about in English?
Also in
The
English, I
same.
use that.
All
Yeah.
right. Very good. Very good. So, are there any words or phrases in English or in Spanish that you don't like or that annoy you? What are they? And why do they annoy you? Maybe the ones we've talked about. There is one that personally annoys me, and I can give you an example. I hate it
Okay.
when people say, when they say lo que es. I I hate that phrase. I don't know why, but I hate it. So,
Really?
is there any that annoys you?
Mm, I guess it used to be a word like in Spanish, yo así, and I was wondering like that. I don't know, but because it only say yo así, but it didn't say anything about that.
You have to look at the person to understand, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, there is an equivalent to that expression in English, and it is like, and I went like, you see. So you say, and I went
Oh,
like, okay.
like what?
Exactly. So yeah, you have to look at the person's face in order to picture the whole thing. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what we are discussing today. Okay. Now that we have um, followed through our introduction, we are going to learn some words or to double check them in case that we already know them. Okay.
Okay.
So before our first exercise. So we have the word renowned. Renowned. Okay. if you have heard this before, or if it sounds similar to a word that you already know, what does it make you think the meaning is?
I don't know. It sounds like start again or um,
Okay, that's the impression it gives you. Okay, so
yeah.
renowned is something that is very popular, you see,
Oh,
or something that everybody knows. Okay, you see,
wow.
exactly. So, for example, what is a renowned name in the music industry, for example?
Um, like a producer or
Mhm.
singer.
Yes.
Oh, well, I guess right now is very popular. Bad Bunny, probably.
Okay, very good, very good,
Yeah.
very good. All right,
I,
good.
I I don't like it, but
But it's
it's what
very
it is.
popular, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I get it. All right. So lump is a verb. Okay, it is an action verb. Now, to lump means to group. Okay, it means to put something or someone in a group. Okay. Now, for example, we can lump products, we can lump people in groups. And it doesn't matter if they are similar or different. That is not important.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that were also either.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Okay, so let me share my screen because there is this yellow ad I hate. Okay, and I wanted to get rid of it. Tatiana, welcome to class.
Thank you, teacher. Sorry to behind that, but I have some uh appointment that I need to go.
Okay, no problem. So I'm just so glad that you could make it to the class. All right, so let me give you a little briefing on what we're doing. All right, so we are learning some words before we do a listening activity. We are speaking about the way we speak. We're speaking about the way we communicate ideas. Okay, so we have some meanings already. We said that the word renowned means that something is popular, or we could also say that it's well known. You see, well known. Okay, everybody knows that. Lump means to group, it is an action verb. Okay, like to put things or people in the same group. All right, now we have the word seemingly. Seemingly. Okay, can you think of a word that is similar to seemingly if you have heard it before?
Seem like uh I mean, I don't know if the same meaning about the word seems like.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's part of the same family, right? Seem is a verb. In this case, seemingly is an adverb,
Uh-huh.
and it describes that something is similar in appearance. You see,
Okay.
similar in appearance. Okay. So another word that is exactly similar to seemingly is
Okay.
exactly,
Yeah.
apparently.
Okay.
See,
Oh.
it's exactly the same. All right. So hesitation is a pause. Okay. A pause that you take when you are speaking. And this pause gives you time to think of the right word that you want to use. If you're using an example or if you're moving to another idea. So it just gives you time to think. So that's a hesitation. Okay, the next word is conscientious. You see? Conscientious. Conscientious. All right,
Conscientious.
exactly. So, what does it mean to be conscientious? You see? Well, have you heard this word before?
Uh I believe
Hmm.
probably I don't know if I read in some book, but
Okay.
it's like to be aware I don't know. I
Exactly.
just
Mhm. Exactly. This is when you're aware. So we're gonna type down being aware, okay, of something, right? Right. It can also mean that you are meticulous. All right. So about something that you do, you see. Now the next one is a verb, and we pronounce it as gauge. You see, gauge. We don't pronounce it as it looks, but we say gauge. Okay. So the meaning of gauge is to measure, okay, or it also means to carefully, you see, we're gonna say carefully judge, right, what people are thinking, for example, what people are thinking, or we can also judge people's actions, you see. Okay, so this is the meaning of gauge. It is like to calculate, basically. We calculate something when we gauge something.
can that word be used like in a uh not like despective, something like despective, because when I don't
Uh-huh.
know if positive judge or negative.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
Yeah,
that?
it doesn't necessarily mean that it's negative. It's just like, for example, when someone's speaking, we start thinking about what the person is saying, right? So no matter what the person is saying, so we start making our own judgments. So that action, like starting judging the person, but not in a bad way, you're just making your own ideas because of
Gotcha.
the perception that this person is giving you. Right. So that action is called to gauge, you see, to judge or to calculate or to try to understand what the other person is explaining.
Gotcha. Thank you.
We're gonna work on some exercises to make sure that this vocabulary is well understood before we're moving on to the listening part. Okay. Now, the next word is dreaded. You see, dreaded. Now, the meaning of dreaded. This is an adjective, and another equivalent to dreaded is feared. You see, so feared is something positive or negative. Can you tell me? To
Negative.
be feared, it is negative, right?
Yeah.
Do you know someone who is feared in the world, or something that is feared or dreaded?
The president of North Korea.
Oh, yes. He is a dreaded man. Exactly. Exactly. Good. Okay. Nice. What about the word stigma? What is the meaning of stigma? Or
Like a
what is?
bad characteristic from
Mhm,
someone.
mhm. Okay, so we can say it is a bad characteristic. Okay, very good. And yes, it is a mark. Exactly. A bad mark or a mark of shame, you see. That is a stigma. It's something negative, right? Very good. Okay, so now that we have checked our vocabulary, we're getting ready to work on an exercise. Okay, remember, we're doing this because we want to make sure that we understand the listening that we're going to be working with. Okay, let me share my screen. One more time. Okay, so now let's see. Based on the synonyms that we checked, we can say that the exact meaning of renowned is letter Take your time to read.
Probably the letter H. Well known and well respected.
There you go. Okay, let me get rid of this one more time. Okay. Exactly. Okay. So what would be the meaning of lump? To lump. It is an action.
Letter F.
Help me read it.
To group something together with something else,
Mhm.
even though they aren't very similar.
There you go. Okay, so then we're gonna work with the word seemingly, you see. So what's the meaning of seemingly? You see, it's similar to apparently. So it can refer to something we are not sure of. Maybe that other idea has a similar appearance, but we are not sure. That's why we say seemingly, apparently.
B? I don't know.
Which one?
I'm honestly I'm not sure, but letter G.
Yeah, correct. Help me read it. That's fine. Uh-huh.
In a manner that may not be true despite appearing to be.
Exactly. Okay, so it might not. We're not sure if it's true or
Mhm.
not. So let me see who just joined.
And I was not sure too. So
Good, good, good. That's why we're working on this activity. We're learning vocabulary. Heidi, welcome. All
Thank
right.
you.
Right now we're checking some meanings before working on a listening practice, okay? All right, so let's see. Then the next word is, number 4, hesitation. Number 4, hesitation. What's the meaning of that?
letter A.
A.
Can you read it?
Jorge, please.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
A pause before acting or speaking,
Mhm.
or a word said during that pause.
One more time. Or a word said.
A word said during that pause.
Great. Very good. All right. That's hesitation. Now let's talk about conscientious. Conscientious. What's the meaning of conscientious?
I think it's letter B.
There you go. Help us read.
When actions are taken in a considered and correct way.
There you go. You got it well. All right. Now let's move on, and we're gonna talk about the verb gauge. What does it mean to gauge? This is when you're making your own perception of what the other person is saying. You're judging the other person's.
It's usually about someone attitude or feeling.
Exactly. Repeat with me. Someone's attitudes. Someone's attitudes.
Someone's attitude.
Great. You got it right. Okay. And then let me see. Okay. Let's use this color. Okay. What about dreaded? A synonym to dreaded is feared. So dreaded is.
Letter G.
Can you help me read?
To describe something that has a bad reputation and causes fear, often used
Ironically.
Yeah,
One more time. There you go. Okay. Thank you. And then we have a stigma. What's the meaning of a stigma, Heidi?
Stigma, negative feelings or thoughts attached to something.
Great. Okay. Now that we're good with this vocabulary, we're ready to look at some examples. Okay. So here we go. All right. So we have all the words right at the top of the screen, and we have some examples. Okay. So let's see. So Jorge, can you give us a hand with the first one?
Yep. He always looked so serious. It's difficult to mm, to gauge, you know,
Okay, great. Okay, repeat with me. To gauge.
to gauge.
Mhm,
It's
exactly.
difficult to gauge
What? Uh-huh.
what he's thinking.
Great. So it's difficult to calculate. It's difficult to, let's see, to measure, or it's difficult to judge what the person is thinking. Like, okay, you see? So it's difficult to imagine. We can attach many meanings to it, but I think the easiest one is to calculate what someone else is thinking. What about number 2, Tatiana? And before you answer that, let me explain this one. Okay, take a look at this. When you say, can you help me read it? Just this part, Tatiana.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
He used to put the fear of God into us as a chiller.
Okay, thank you. So before you give me your answer, whenever you hear this phrase, that someone puts the fear of God into someone, that means that this person makes you extremely frightened or extremely scared. It's just an expression. So that person makes you extremely frightened. This is what the phrase means. Okay. So after hearing that explanation, what would be the word we're looking for?
Probably
Okay. We're going to pronounce it as dreaded. Okay.
dreaded, sorry.
Very good. No problem. Okay. Can you help me read the whole thing?
Sure, I saw my dreaded science teacher in town yesterday. He used to put the fear of God into as a chiller.
Can you guys think of any teacher who was dreaded when you were children? Can you remember someone like that?
For sure. I had an English teacher that,
Uh-huh.
I mean, every time that when she went to the class, to
Mhm.
the classroom, we were really like, I don't know, uh, we had a fear about that teacher
Mhm.
because she always asked us a lot of questions.
Oh my
And
God.
I don't know, but she used to use glasses like at the
Oh.
end of the nose, and and that made us like, I don't know. She was really terrible.
Oh, so it was her appearance.
Yeah,
Well,
her appearance
uh-huh.
and the way she acted with us too.
Yeah.
Everyone, also the other teachers, were like, she's like,
Oh my
you
God.
know,
Nobody liked her then, I bet.
yes, because she scared like everyone.
Oh my
Also
God.
the other teacher.
I'm so sorry you had this bad experience. A teacher shouldn't make you feel like that. Nobody. And there are teachers that even make adults feel like this. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that experience. Let's see. What about number 3, Heidi?
She's a deeply
Hmm.
mm, mm, conscientious,
Let's
uh,
see. Yes.
conscientious
Yes.
employee.
Yes. It's a long word, so let's see. 1 second. Okay. Yes. Conscientious. Uh-huh.
Conscientious
Mhm.
employee, and I think will be very successful in the future.
All right. Great. Number 4, Jorge.
If they offer me the job, I'll accept it without hesitation.
Mhm. Mhm.
It looks amazing.
Great. All right. Give me a hand reading the first part one more time. We're gonna say, if they offer me the job.
If they offer me the job,
Mhm.
I'll accept it without hesitation.
Very good. Thank you. Number 5, Tatiana.
Sorry, I thought I have.
Yeah, no
the map.
problem. Take your time.
In many places in the world, there is still a lot of not sure how. Probably a lot of God, gulch.
Well, in this case, we have already
Oh,
used
sorry,
gate.
we already. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
So you see, in many places, we need to picture the situation in our minds.
Yes.
So there is a lot of something attached related to women. This is like there is a belief that people have in common about women who don't want to have children. You see?
Probably Renault.
So we're gonna say there is a lot of, okay, in this case, renowned is an adjective. So we say that something is popular. In this case, we're looking for a word that is similar to a characteristic or to a mark of shame.
Simply, let me. Stigma.
There you go. Okay, can you help me read the whole sentence one more time?
For sure. In many places in the world, there is still a lot of stigma attached to women who don't want to have children. However, attitudes are slowly changing.
Very good. I'm just gonna have you repeat 2 words. We're gonna say in many places. Repeat with me, in many places.
In many places.
Okay, and here we're gonna say attitudes. Attitudes.
Attitudes.
There you go. Very good. All right, guys. We're gonna do one more. We're getting closer to the listening. Okay, so 3 more. Let's see. Heidi, help us read number 6.
The wedding was a nightmare. At dinner, they had to
They had to do an action. They had to do an action. We're looking for a verb.
lump me together with all the grandparents because there weren't enough places. We had nothing in common to talk about.
Very good. So they had to group me together or lump me together. It's exactly the same. Has this ever happened to you, Heidi?
That I remember? No, I didn't have this experience yet.
Okay. No, in no situation. Like they're putting you in a group where maybe you think you don't fit for whatever reason it is.
I'm a very social person.
All right.
I
That
can
is
talk
wonderful.
to all people, young people,
Great, like a chameleon.
child.
Okay, very good. That is a nice skill. Let's see. Number 7, Jorge. Let's see. Oh, I'm receiving a message. Okay. Yeah, me too. So let's see. Jorge, number 7.
At lunch, my boss asked me this renowned,
Okay.
innocent question about my plan for the weekend. But I know he's planning to ask me to work.
Okay. So let's see. We're gonna imagine. So you were having lunch and your boss asked you a question. It says innocent question about my plans for the weekend. But I know he's planning to ask me to work. So your boss has a different intention. So his question wasn't supposed to be what you thought at first. You see?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that case is seemingly.
Very good. All right. So one more time. Can you help me read it one more time?
Yeah. At lunch, my boss asked me this seemingly innocent question about my plan for the weekend. But I know he's planning to ask me to work.
Okay, very good. So apparently the question was innocent, but it really wasn't. Very good. Tatiana, number 8.
It was so embarrassing. My brother made this smart remark that the guy should check his facts, and then it turned out he's what the only I believe
Okay.
is
Uh-huh.
renowned science.
Oh my God. So renowned scientist. Repeat with me. Renowned
Renowned
scientist.
scientist.
Okay. A smart remark is what you think is a smart, you see, smart comment or observation, you see. So there are people who like to do to make those smart comments or observations, but sometimes they really don't know what they're talking about, or they think they're smarter than others because they make these observations. So this is what happened to the person here. Okay. So he was trying to teach the teacher, right? All right, basically in this example. So good. All right, now we are ready to listen to the audio. Okay, the first time we listen to it, okay, we are just going to listen to it for just 1 minute and 8 seconds. Okay, I'm going to pause it after minute 1 and 8 seconds. We're going to just listen to very specific details, okay? So I advise that you take notes during the audio, okay, the whole audio, so you can get ready with pen and paper to get notes, okay, from the audio. Now, I'm going to repeat it, okay, for a second time, and then we are going to answer some questions, okay? So here we go. Are you ready with pen and paper? Or if you want to take notes on your computer is okay as well.
I'm ready.
Okay. So let me share my screen. Here we go. So the title of the video, as I mentioned in the beginning, is why do we hesitate when we speak? Why do we hesitate when we speak? Here we go.
For as long as we've had language, some people have tried. For as long as we've had language, some people have tried to control it. And some of the most frequent targets of this communication regulation are the ums, ers, and likes that pepper our conversations. Ancient Greek and Latin texts warned against speaking with hesitation. Modern schools have tried to ban the offending terms. And renowned linguist Noam Chomsky dismissed these expressions as errors irrelevant to language. Historically, these speech components had been lumped into the broader bucket of disfluencies, linguistic fillers which distract from useful speech. However, none of this controversy has made these so-called disfluencies less common. They continue to occur roughly 2 to 3 times per minute in natural speech, and different versions of them can be found in almost every language, including sign language. So, are ums and uhs just a habit we can't break? Or is there more to them than meets the ear?
Okay, I'm going to repeat it one more time. Here we go.
For as long as we've had language, some people have tried to control it. And some of the most frequent targets of this communication regulation are the ums, ers, and likes that pepper our conversations. Ancient Greek and Latin texts warned against speaking with hesitation. Modern schools have tried to ban the offending terms. And renowned linguist Noam Chomsky dismissed these expressions as errors irrelevant to language. Historically, these speech components had been lumped into the broader bucket of disfluencies, linguistic fillers which distract from useful speech. However, none of this controversy has made these so-called disfluencies less common. They continue to occur roughly 2 to 3 times per minute in natural speech, and different versions of them can be found in almost every language, including sign language. So, are ums and uhs just a habit we can't break? Or is there more to them than meets the ear? To answer
Okay, so before we actually check those questions, in your own words, can you tell me what was just said in the video? What is the person describing? Just in these first minutes of the video. We don't have to describe in detail, just what ideas can you get from what you just watched?
Probably the disfluency that
Mm-hmm.
distract from, like, when you are telling something or doing a
Great.
speech in front of other.
Great, you used a great word, disfluencies. Now, were you able to catch some examples of disfluencies throughout the video? Anybody? Very good.
There's
Exactly. So earlier in this class, we talked about these words that we make, that we use, and the sounds that we make in Spanish or in English when we're speaking. With Jorge, we said that in Spanish, it's very common for us to say, or we sometimes say, we say, quiero ver. Have you noticed? Yes? Or we
Yes.
say, in English, we say, like, you see, like, or we say, I went like, you see. Okay, so we're trying to exemplify what we are saying so that the other person gets a clear message. So these are disfluencies. Okay, so great. Now we're going to answer question number 1. Heidi, can you help us read?
In which languages did ancient texts warn us against using hesitations?
Okay, very good. Hesitations or disfluencies. Okay, now were you able to catch this piece of information?
No, I
If you weren't.
didn't.
Okay, very good. That's fine. Okay, what about the rest? Were you able to do it? Or do we need to
Yes.
watch it again? Yes? Okay, what was it?
A letter A, Latin and Greek.
It was Latin and Greek. Okay, very good. What is the meaning of warn? This is an action. This is a verb. What does it mean to warn someone? Do you know another word for it?
Like give an advice?
Okay, exactly. Some advice or an alert. It's like, don't use it, don't do it. Like, it's dangerous or it's bad. You see?
Like make aware or something like.
Exactly. They want to make you aware of it. Great. Now, let's see. Jorge, can you help us with the second one?
How did Noam Chomsky describe hesitations? I guess letter A as error.
Exactly. They are errors according to Noam Chomsky. Okay. He said, disfluencies or hesitations are bad. They are errors. Avoid them at all costs. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. This is what this guy said, right? Okay. Now, let's see. Number 3, Heidi. Help us read.
What word is used to describe linguistic fillers which distract from useful speech?
Okay. Before you go ahead and give me your answer, we're going to say that linguistic fillers are also known as disfluencies, like we just mentioned previously. Okay. Very
Yes.
good. Mhm. So, the answer in number 3 will be?
Letter C.
Of course, right? Very good. Okay. So examples of these fluencies throughout the video that you remember? They were 3. Do you remember them exactly?
I remember the ums, the
Mhm.
us,
Exactly.
or like
Okay, very good. Okay, great. Now, let's see. Tatiana, help me read number 4.
How often do hesitations occur in natural speech?
Mhm.
2 to 3 times per minute.
Very good. So this is the estimated time that we use in order to take pauses when we're normally speaking. Okay, very good. Now we're moving to the part where we watch the whole video. Okay, now, before watching the whole video, oh, we have a 5th question. Let's see. Heidi, help us read.
Sure. Do people use hesitation in signed language?
Mhm.
Yes, they do. It
Of
is
course.
letter A.
Very good, very good. Okay, good. All right, so before we move on to watching the whole video, all right, we have some other examples of disfluency or discourse markers. Okay, we can have discourse markers or fillers in formal and informal speech, the way we speak. Okay, so we're going to focus mainly on the informal ones throughout this video. Okay, so we can have some examples here, right? So we can say this one here. When people are speaking, they say, you know, kind of, I mean, fine, actually, okay, but, or, all right, we have some other examples right here. Really, Tatiana? You use it a lot?
Yes. I don't like it, but sometimes, I already use it. I don't know why, but I
Yeah.
use it.
So yeah, actually, this is something we can't avoid, and it's okay. We don't need to avoid them. This is part of the learning process, and it's also part of the process in which you convey ideas or you transmit ideas to the people you're talking to. So yeah, there are some words that we know that we say a lot, but it's actually something normal that we do unconsciously. You see?
Yeah.
All right. So this is what we're talking about: informal disfluencies or discourse markers. Okay. So now remember, you can take notes throughout the video. Okay. So here we go.
Through this question, it helps to compare
I will share my screen one more time.
For as long as we've had language, some people have tried to control it. And some of the most frequent targets of this communication regulation are the ums, ers, and likes that pepper our conversations. Ancient Greek and Latin texts warned against speaking with hesitation. Modern schools have tried to ban the offending terms. And renowned linguist Noam Chomsky dismissed these expressions as errors irrelevant to language. Historically, these speech components had been lumped into the broader bucket of disfluencies, linguistic fillers which distract from useful speech. However, none of this controversy has made these so-called disfluencies less common. They continue to occur roughly 2 to 3 times per minute in natural speech, and different versions of them can be found in almost every language, including sign language. So, are ums and uhs just a habit we can't break? Or is there more to them than meets the ear? To answer this question, it helps to compare these speech components to other words we use in everyday life. While a written word might have multiple definitions, we can usually determine its intended meaning through context. In speech, however, a word can take on additional layers of meaning. Tone of voice, the relationship between speakers, and expectations of where a conversation will go can imbue even words that seem like filler with vital information. This is where and come in, or and m, tuota and eto and ano. Linguists call these filled pauses, which are a kind of hesitation phenomenon. And these seemingly insignificant interruptions are actually quite meaningful in spoken communication. For example, while a silent pause might be interpreted as a sign for others to start speaking, a filled pause can signal that you're not finished yet. Hesitation phenomena can buy time for your speech to catch up with your thoughts, or to fish out the right word for a situation. And they don't just benefit the speaker. A filled pause lets your listeners know an important word is on the way. Linguists have even found that people are more likely to remember a word if it comes after a hesitation. Hesitation phenomena aren't the only parts of speech that take on new meaning during dialogue. Words and phrases such as like, well, or you know function as discourse markers, ignoring their literal meaning to convey something about the sentence in which they appear. Discourse markers direct the flow of conversation, and some studies suggest that conscientious speakers use more of these phrases to ensure everyone is being heard and understood. For example, starting a sentence with "look" can indicate your attitude and help you gauge the listener's agreement. "I mean" can signal that you're about to elaborate on something. And the dreaded "like" can perform many functions, such as establishing a loose connection between thoughts or introducing someone else's words or actions. These markers give people a real-time view into your thought process and help listeners follow, interpret, and predict what you're trying to say. Discourse markers and hesitation phenomena aren't just useful for understanding language. They help us learn it too. In 2011, a study showed toddlers common and uncommon objects alongside a recording referring to one of the items. When a later recording asked them to identify the uncommon object, toddlers performed better if that instruction contained a filled pause. This may mean that filled pauses cue toddlers to expect novel words and help them connect new words to new objects. For adolescents and adults learning a second language, filled pauses smooth out awkward early conversations. And once they're more confident, the second language learner can signal their newfound fluency by using the appropriate hesitation phenomenon. Because contrary to popular belief, the use of filled pauses doesn't decrease with mastery of a language. Just because hesitation phenomena and discourse markers are a natural part of communication doesn't mean they're always appropriate. Outside of writing dialogue, they serve no purpose in most formal writing. And in some contexts, the stigma these social cues carry can work against the speaker. But in most conversations, these seemingly senseless sounds can convey a world of meaning. You're never too young to start honing your skills as a speaker.
Okay, let's pause the video right here. Okay, very roughly, using discourse markers or fillers is something negative or is something positive? According to the video.
And sorry, go ahead, Tatiana.
Yeah, thank you, Heidi. I think positive
Mhm.
from the video.
Okay, very good, very good. Do you agree, Heidi?
Yes, because in some cases,
Mhm.
it can help to make a smooth conversation,
Mhm.
and it helps, for example, toddlers to learn more easier
Mhm. Very good. In an easier word. Wait, repeat with
in
me.
in an easier way.
Exactly. Very good. Very good. Okay, good. All right. So now we're just going to take some minutes, the last minutes of our practice, in order to answer just four. Okay, we're just going to go for four statements here. Okay, and we're going to say if they are true or false. Okay. So the first one, let's see. Jorge, can you help us read the first one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
If we compare hesitation to other spoken word, the other spoken word we use daily, it can help us to decide if they have more meaning that it appears at first.
Okay, so this means that the statement is true or false. Take your time.
Yeah, it's true, according to the video.
According to the video, right? Very good. Okay. Let me write it down. Exactly. So they help us compare the speech of components to other words we use in everyday life, you see. So what about number two, Heidi? Can you help us read?
Sure. It's only the tone of someone's voice that gives hesitation any kind of meaning. According to the video, it is not the only one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you remember anything else?
I remember something about relationships.
Ah, exactly. It depends on how you relate to the people you're talking to. Uh-huh. Very good. Anything else? Anybody else? Or are you, Heidi?
Mm, mm, there is a third one, but I don't remember
All
what it
right.
is.
No problem. You got most of it. But it's also the expectations that you have of the conversation that adds a meaning to it. So great. Great job. It is false. What about number three, Tatiana? Can you help us read?
Linguists refer to hesitation as feel hesitations.
Repeat with me. Refer.
Refer.
Okay.
I believe it was feel pause.
Ah, very good. So it's filled
Face pause.
pauses, right? So this one is false. Very good. And the last one, Jorge. Let's see.
Hesitation can communicate to the listener that significant information is about to be given. And this is true.
Very good. Very good. So do you remember any examples from from when this part was explained from the video?
For example, the word I mean.
Very good. Do you guys
Yeah,
remember?
you are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you usually use I mean when you want to explain something about. Well, when you are about to explain something.
Exactly. Very good. Because you want to make sure that your message is well understood by the people you're talking to. Very good. All right. So, due to time matters, we're not going to be able to discuss on the other four remaining statements. All right. But I thank you very much for joining me tonight. And I hope you're able to practice a little bit more with these words that we learned tonight so that they can become part of your vocabulary. All right. So thank you for coming. Do you have any questions for me?
Just one. I don't know if you already talked about it, but I just want to know how it's going to be the dynamic for the presentation the next, I think, Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
and Wednesday.
It will be Tuesday and Wednesday due to the suspensions that we have had. So it would be in the last 2 sessions that we're having. And basically, I'm going to give you 10 minutes for you to explain or to talk about something that you're interested in. It can be related to your job, or it can just be something that you like to talk about. The idea is for you to feel comfortable with the topic that you choose and that you're able to give a presentation about it. And after everybody's presentation on Tuesday, for example, I'm going to give you feedback, but to all of you all together, right? And then I'm going to send you your scores individually.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I have another
Sure.
question. Sorry.
No problem.
I already finished the course in the platform,
Okay.
and I generate the certificate, but I think that the dates are wrong.
Oh, okay. Let me take notes on that one because I will double check with my coordinator. So dates are wrong, you say?
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't remember what is the date that is
I
printing
believe it
in
was
this.
very May, I think.
Oh, and
Something
we
like that, but
okay.
it's around May.
Okay, very good. So, all right. So I will tell Gabriela, my coordinator, to double check on that, and then I will get back to you with the correction, because if the date is wrong, we definitely need to make a correction there.
Okay, thanks, Adriana.
All right, welcome. All right, guys. So if you have no more questions, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for coming. Bye bye.
Good night. Thanks.
See you. Good
Night.
night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.